The night we stopped talking. The silence didn't start with a scream. It started with a fork. A single stainless steel fork, dropped onto the kitchen tile at 9:42 p.m., bounced once, and clattered to a stillness that echoed louder than any fight they'd ever had. Maddie stared at it like it had betrayed her. Josh didn't even blink. He just stood by the sink, arms folded, face unreadable, waiting for her to say something. But she didn't. She couldn't. Because what do you say when it feels like love is slipping between your fingers, and you're too tired to catch it? They had been married for 7 years. Not perfect years, but full ones. Wedding photos still hung in the hallway, her barefoot in a sundress, him grinning with a crooked tie. Their daughter Emma, now 5, was asleep upstairs, unaware that her parents' world was splintering under the weight of words they no longer knew how to say. It hadn't always been like this. Maddie and Josh met during a college volunteer trip in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. She was a psychology major with messy notebooks and bright eyes. He was studying architecture and sketching fallen houses on napkins. They stayed up late, talking under string lights, bonding over their shared need to fix broken things. He had loved her fire. Her questions. The way she argued over movie plots and cried during dog food commercials. And she loved his quiet steadiness, the way he made her feel safe without ever saying it out loud. They got married 2 years after graduation. Bought a fixer-upper in Denver. Adopted a mutt named Charlie. Built a life that looked picture-perfect on Instagram. But somewhere between daycare pickups, job promotions, and therapy bills, they stopped noticing each other. They became ships in the same harbor, nodding in passing, speaking in logistics and half-smiles. Their love turned into a to-do list. The night everything cracked open, it wasn't about the fork. It was about Emma's drawing. Earlier that day, she had brought home a crayon picture from preschool. A house with a crooked roof. A tree. A sun with a smiling face. And 3 stick figures, Emma in the middle, and her parents standing far apart on either side. Why are Mommy and Daddy not next to each other? Maddie had asked gently. Emma shrugged. You don't hold hands anymore. That night, after bedtime stories and warm milk, Maddie sat on the edge of the couch with the drawing in her lap. Josh was in the kitchen, scrolling his phone, waiting for her to say something, anything. And then the fork dropped. And silence spread like smoke. What came next wasn't shouting. It was honesty. The kind that hurts. I'm tired, Josh, Maddie said finally, her voice breaking like a thread pulled too tight. Not tired like I need a nap. Tired like I don't know who we are anymore. Josh looked at her, really looked, for the first time in weeks. She looked like a stranger. His stranger. The woman he still loved but had forgotten how to reach. I know, he said quietly. I feel it too. They talked until midnight. About missed anniversaries. About how he always stayed late at work, not because he didn't want to come home, but because he didn't know how to walk through the front door anymore. About how she felt invisible. About how love had become something to survive, not celebrate. Tears came. So did silence. But this time, the silence didn't feel empty, it felt full. Heavy with things they hadn't said in years. The next few weeks weren't a miracle. But they were something. They started seeing a couples therapist. They set a rule, no phones after 8 p.m. They went on walks without Emma, just the 2 of them, retracing their favorite trails from their dating days. There were setbacks. Fights. Cold shoulders. Nights when one of them slept on the couch. But there were also small wins. Maddie started painting again. Josh cooked on Sundays. They learned to ask better questions, to really listen. And one evening, while watching Emma draw at the kitchen table, she reached for both of their hands and smiled. You're standing next to each other now, she said, pointing to her new drawing. By spring, the house didn't feel like a war zone anymore. It felt like home. The night they stopped talking was also the night they started choosing each other again. Not because it was easy or convenient, but because they remembered why they fell in love in the first place, and how silence, if met with courage, can become a doorway instead of a wall. In the end, love isn't loud. It's consistent. It's the coffee mug waiting on the counter. The hand that reaches across the couch. The apology whispered before bed. The willingness to begin again, even when it's hard. And sometimes, the night you stop talking, is the first night you truly hear each other. You don't lose love all at once. You lose it in small, ordinary silences. But if you're brave enough to speak through them, to fight for the heart underneath the hurt, you can find your way back. Love isn't just about holding on. It's about learning to hold each other differently.